Hi everyone, welcome back to Clinimetrix version 3. Today we are going to cover off the new contractor payment tool which supports all practices in the GP industry for any type of payment process, whether using trust account, centralised accounting or a direct deposit into doctors' accounts. We've got structures to work for both types and we'll show you around it now. So when you land in Clinimetrix, first up you're going to see the quick view screen. To get into the contractor payment tool, it is simply a matter of selecting the item. What you will see is of course a lot of transactions in this practice, in this demo practice, so there's more data than can be displayed. We'll just pick a short period, just a 1 week window to have a look at some data. Again, keep in mind this is the demo deck. So what you're seeing here is just all the transactions that occurred over that period of time in this demo deck, and a way to drill into the data. You can sort by service ID, invoice IDs, visit IDs, patient names, service description, all those kinds of things when you're looking to find errors. And generally that's what this tool is for in the payment process module. More often than not, it's not used. It's only when there's something that's gone wrong, but this is where you can start your journey in doing this payment process. With Clinimetrix, the structure of the system is designed around having templates in place that allow you to establish the service fee that you're paying, and those service fees can be set based on a whole variety of metrics, and that can be the doctor's billing profile. So this doctor A may be on 30% for everything they bill. They may only be on 30% for certain item codes and 25% for other item codes. They may, the practice may have items that are 100% to practice. All of those things can be structured within the Clinimetrix modules. It's just a template sheet that you set up and then leave it alone pretty much. And then you get these kind of outputs available to you, which is total receipts in the period, including GST amount, the practice return on that based on the profile that's been created by the practitioner, the GST on that amount, what's going to the practitioner, and also what's been received directly into the practice. Now in most cases this means it's non-EFT, non-Medicare, non-DVA payments. This is cash checks, those kinds of things. Is direct credit payments. This is only applicable if the business is using a direct deposit, direct debit system for managing its funds. So it's New South Wales, Victoria, South Australia, and the ACT have that kind of process they need to have in place. The other states not so much. So that's the data. If you have something like MyOb or an ERP software platform, you can simply export this and just upload it. That will give you all the data you need. But if you need more detail, you want to have controls over that, you can also export the standardized Xero report. Xero has very specific requirements, MyOb and the ERP programs do not, and so you can manage that from this kind of reporting rather than using the dedicated Xero report we have here. I will explain that further. In the payment details and payment rates report, this is what I was talking about setting up profiles for practitioners. So we'll just select Bill Klein, and you can see in this practice there's a wide variety of billing profiles, 38s, 50s, 40%, subject to either the MBS item, the bulk billing or private billing status, and the nature of the consultation. So you can set up all of those things. You can use item code 0 and then change the service descriptions and have unique percentages paid based on whatever that particular item is. So you may have things like orthotics from your podiatrist being charged a very low service fee because it's their product. Conversely, you might have dressings and bandages at 100% to practice. All of that can be structured inside Clinimetrix. It's a one and done process until you change your profiles or you add new practitioners. Very simple to do, and a clean process for everybody just to get on with managing your payment processing. The next part of the detail is just the payment summary. So fees generated, GST patient paid, etc., etc. So this is direct debit values when you're doing those. Again, if you wish to export into something like MyOb, you may wish to use this report as opposed to the practitioner payments report, because it provides a little bit more detail on the amount that's being debited and the amount that was actually banked as well. So that's available here. Again, we're just looking at bill. And then the last thing, second last thing, that the most important one is the zero report. Now, once we're in the zero report, you do have some options. If you're a more than 7-day billing practice or payment practice to your practitioners, then you can select multi-week and it will only give you the one invoice. If you have 1 week selected and an extended period, you get an invoice for each week. If you have multi-week selected and an extended period, it just gives you an invoice. In the trust structure module, what you end up with is 3 lines. One is the service fees that have been received where GST was paid by the patient. For bill, in this instance, there were no fees received here. The second line is total received fees for the doctor as a unit amount, no GST being applicable to these, and then the service fees the practice is going to charge the practitioner, and that's the $3,000 in this instance. Now, when you export this and then upload it into into Xero, these GST tax types will set up the entire invoice correctly for you, and all you then have to do is check and process the invoice. You should always reconcile, just good accounting practice, but you can actually just open it, process it, and move on to the next doctor. That way you're building your direct debit profiles, or in this case, your ABA profiles for transferring funds to your doctors. Now, if you're not using a trust structure and you're paying money directly, or the patients are paying money directly to the doctor, and you are direct debiting from the doctor's accounts, then it is a different set of outputs. This output is the service fees that you are going to charge the practitioner in total, less the amount of money that you have already received from payments that are not Medicare, DVA, or EFT. So this is cash and checks and direct deposits into an account. So insurance company payments, those kind of things. So it is the total amount less the amount already received directly by the practice. And then any amounts where the patient has paid a 100% item, so dressings or bandages, which is due to the practice, where there is some GST to be paid. So those 3 lines are in here. In this case, it's only the 2. Again, this would be downloaded and then imported into Xero. It would be set up exactly as you would want to see it. And then you can then process that invoice and the doctor gets that straight away. From your invoice processing, you set up your direct debits to be the total of that invoice that you're creating, which is the 3045 less the 189.75 and the associated GST amounts over here. And that's your direct debit value. And then you're done. So what you're doing now is having the option to run a direct deposit, direct debit profile, or a direct deposit and invoice profile for all of your practitioners, or you can centrally collect all of the funds as has been the traditional model across the country, and then just pay the doctors based on the total amount received by the practice, less the service fees that are being charged and the associated GST. So that's the export process. It is very, very quick to do. We have over 50 practitioners. It takes us less than 45 minutes to do the entire process every week. My accounts payable people love it. So it's a really tidy, clean process. If you're using anything other than Xero, as I said, you can export this and map the detail. So you have your invoices generated, your dates and detail in your invoice, or you can use the payment rate summary or the practitioner payments report to export directly and then map that in. So that's the tools that we have available. The last report here is if you are doing a direct deposit banking process, you will also need to be able to reconcile banking and the correct entry of data into best practice. Every practitioner will have a merchant ID. Those merchant IDs and transactions need to be reconciled against what your bank has used, be it CommBank or Tyro, or HiCaps if you're working with best practice. And this will give you a list of all of the information from Medicare, EFT, DVA, and so on for that practitioner. You can then look at transaction IDs or merchant IDs and get in and out of that report very quickly, reconcile the variances between what's been recorded in the banking software and the Clinimetrix software, and that way you can find any errors or bugs or variances or adjustments that have been done that have not been recorded correctly and adjust them accordingly when you're in your accounting software before the invoice is processed. So lots and lots of detail here, lots and lots of tools to play with. It is a very quick, very powerful tool that allows you to create payments, accurate payment data. It is completely compliant, irrespective of the state you are in Australia. It gives you all of the information you need with that famous granular detail that Clinimetrix is renowned for. As usual, any questions, just ask us and we'll come back to you straight away.